Hello, my dear friends. In last video, we left off here. I just did some cleaning and reworked on some things, but this basically the same design. So let's check our interactions. If we click here, similarly, this profile pops up, creating some repulsion effect. Uh, this profile can also be opened. And then if we select this group, it will highlight the group members. This is the interaction. This is where we left off. So today we would be actually trying to implement this in HTML. So let's go to our VS Code. So here we can see that I have set up some basic HTML structure. We have some fonts that we need in these fonts, and we have some images and also some icons. Then we have script file and the style file. In style file, I've just set the basic boilerplate style. I've given the font faces and this default setting of margin padding 0. And also I've given body some very basic styling. Now we would start working on it. First of all, we need heading. So let me quickly write markup for that. So we just need small heading, but I would like to show some things to you. Okay, so here we have small heading. This is called top heading, and we have this text teamwork, the framework, and we have the quotes. Okay, so there's a thing in HTML. Uh, the quotes are not properly represented in most fonts, so we might have to do some tricks. So let's save it and let's check how it's looking. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let's refresh. So this is our heading for now. And if we zoom in, we can see that these quotes are not very stylized. So we would use a new font and we would stylize this. So let's get back to our coding and let's start styling this. So we would go to style of CSS and here we would start writing the styles for this. So let me quickly write the style. So here is our style for quotes. And top heading, we need the position to be absolute. We don't need it inside the regular grid. And we have given it some colors. We have given its font size, and we have given these properties so that it aligns well. And we have given it a width as well. So we want it to we don't want it to span the full heading. We want it to break down, so we have given some width, and we have given the styling for quotes and the quotes reverse. This one we want it to be reversed. I would show you why. So okay, so this one, suppose we just comment it out. We comment this line out, and let's go to browser and hit refresh. Okay, so this is our heading, and as we can see, if we zoom in, the quotes are overlapping with the text, and their direction is same. So, in order to reverse this direction, we are using that CSS trick. So, let me go back, and if we perform this trick, then we can first of all we have to translate the quotes a little bit behind the heading text, and then we have to give scale x of -1. This would flip it. So let's save it and let's go to the website and let's see. Okay, so here our quote is appearing correctly. Now this is our heading done. Let's go to our markup and let's write the markup for our first of all, we would need a div of team. Let me create that. We would need a div. Then we would make one profile element and one group element. uh, so that we set their styling, and after that we would go to JavaScript and start writing the code to make it interactive. So let me quickly go to the markup, and we just add the container. So this is our container. This is going to hold all the team related things. And now we would also add the add some markup for profile. So let me quickly write that markup. So here is some markup for a single profile. So let me go through that quickly. Okay, so now it is properly indented. So first of all, we have a close button. Then this would be on top of the profile. Then we have a tint. This would be a div which will represent a tint. Then we would have a profile picture, profile image, and this is an image tag. Then we have the heading for profile name, then profile designation, and then we have this social media container which will create two social media icons. So this one is X for Twitter, and this one is LinkedIn. So this is markup. Let's give it a style. So let me quickly grab the style for this. So let me quickly add the style. Okay, so this is our style for the profile. Let me go through each and every element quickly. So first of all, the profile would have position of absolute. So in that particular container, the profile would have position absolute. We also need to add the style for our container. We would give containers on width and height. So let me quickly add that as well. So our team container would have a position of relative, and then we have width and height 80%. So it would be a block inside our body. And here, first of all, the profile would have position of absolute. Then it has a display of flex, and direction would be column. So profile would be storing all the elements. Then we have these properties, and here important thing is we have cursor pointer. Okay, so profile has just these properties to set the layout. Then we have the transition. This transition is very important. This transition is basically going to give us the same effect which we observed in Adobe XD. This is called snap. So we can this effect is basically the snap effect. So we can this transition ensures that we are getting the snap type of effect. Cubic Bezier is basically a mathematical function which defines how our easing function should look like. So we can define different cubic Bezier function. So I would not go into depth, but this is the easing function, and this ensures that all the conditions are in the animations that we see, they would be snapped. Okay, the close button would be a circular regular button, and its opacity, if we make this opacity one, we would see it visible. And for now, this is all there is to it. Then there is a cross. Let me show. Okay, so this is close button, and inside the close there is a cross, and this is a HTML code for a cross symbol. And ampersand times semicolon. This stands for cross symbol. So for close button, we are using this, and then we have this little bit property. Users like none means that when we click on this button, it won't highlight that HTML. This is basically like a text. So if we double click on it, it might highlight. So we are trying to use it as a close button. So we don't want it to be highlighted. So that's why we are giving it this property, users like none. Then there is a tint. Tint has position absolute. It would be on top of the profile, and its opacity is 0.5, which we saw in Adobe XP that we are giving 50% transparency. And its it would be round, so its border radius would be 50%, and its aspect ratio is 1. So we know that aspect ratio 1 means it would be a square, and border radius makes it a circle. So it would be at 0 top, and z index, must have a higher value of z index so that it's above all other layers. And then there are types. Our profile, if we go back on Adobe XP, and let me share the screen. So here we can see that these profiles actually have three types of sizes. One is this, which have width and height of 214. The second one is this, which have width and height of 152, and the third one is this, which has width and height of 198. So we are defining our CSS classes based on this. So let me get back to the code. And so that's why we are assigning the properties. And also each type also has different background colors. So the tint has different type of background colors as well. So we are also assigning those colors. These are the colors that we took from Adobe XD. And then there is also another effect, which is hover effect. When we hover over profile, it should get a little bit bigger, and the tint should disappear. So this is what we are doing here. We are setting the tint 0, and we are transforming the scale slightly bigger. And this tint, we can use some properties, classes inside a particular class as well. So this is what we are doing here. We want that only on hover we should reduce the opacity of tint. Then there is a rank. Rank is basically the image. This image has the class of rank, and then it has further types of rank 1, 2, and 3 because of the same thing, because we have different sizes. So rank 1, 2, and 3 are different sizes of the image, and it also has border radius of 50%, and its transition is also snap. Then we have profile name. We are giving it some font, the styles, and its font size and all that. And we have this transition to be bezier. We are giving this transform. Let me just quickly erase that for now. I will explain why I'm giving this transform. And also in the earlier tint, uh, we we gave it opacity of 0.5. Let me quickly go through that. Okay, so a close button, we have also given opacity of 1. By default, it was 0. I'm doing this just to show you each and everything. And then we have this profile designation, same as this profile name. We are giving it some style, and then we are giving it transition as well. And this social media container, it's a flex, and it's a row flex, and it has this property space between, and its width is fixed to be 70 pixels, so that those two icons look side by side, and they have some size as well. And then those social media icons, they have width of 32 pixels, then aspect ratio 1, and border radius 50%. So let's quickly visualize how this profile looks. It should appear on top left corner of our team container. So let me share my screen and let's refresh. So this is how it is looking, and it has all the properties. So let me quickly inspect it. And here we can see that we have all these elements. This is profile, and then we have let me check what happened to the name, why it's not appearing here. So where is name? Okay, so name and designation are visible, but let me figure out what's the error, and let's resume. Okay, so it was a rookie mistake. I didn't see that all the opacity was set to 0. So let's give it opacity of 1, and social media container as well. So let's get back to browser and share my screen. And let's see. Okay, now we can see that we have a profile in view. We can see that it has different properties. When we hover, it expands a little bit and the tint is gone. Then we have this name and designation, and also the social media icons are set. So this is what we expected it to be. We are just designing this prototype so that we know our styles are correct. We would later generate all the profiles from JavaScript, so we don't need the markup here. Okay, so this is for profile. Let's get back to code, and let's quickly add the group as well. Okay, now I'm going to also uncomment these transforms. These are basically used to hide the hide the name designation and social media container behind the profile, as there also has the index is less than the profile picture. This has the index of 4, and these all have the indexes of 2. So they are layer behind this. They can hide behind the profile picture. So this is why I'm giving them these translations. Translate right means they will move vertically up. So I'm giving them some room to move up and hide behind the profile. And also for safety measures, I'm giving them opacity of 0, so that they are not appearing when the profile is not clicked. As we saw in the effect, then when the profile is clicked, only then they should pop up and be showing here. And also let me give the opacity of close button as 0, because we don't need a close button at the start. So if we do that, then our profile is what we expected to see. Let me show quickly refresh and ensure that we are on the right track. Okay, now this is good. This is what we expect from normal profile. Now let's get back to code, and let's quickly add the group as well. So just for testing purposes, we are going to add group markup and group styling as well. So let me quickly grab that. It's very short. It's not that big. Okay, so here we have added a group, and let me quickly, I'm giving it deliberately the top of 500 pixels and left 0. So it should appear below this profile. And also I'm giving it some random text, and so that I can check my styling. So let me quickly add the style of group. So this is our group styling. There are two groups, group 1 and 2 for now. We have developers group and designers group, and each has their own property, and we are done with it. So let's quickly view this on browser as well. It should appear below this. Okay, so here it is, group text 1, and this is for our purposes, our markup and styling is done. Now we need to add functionality. So let's get back to our markup and remove those. We don't need these at this moment. So let's comment them out for now. We don't need them. And let's get to JavaScript. Okay, so before we start, we need to have some variables to store some hard-coded values, because we cannot proceed without them. So first of all, let me get back to Adobe XD. And let's see, there are some properties here. We have width and height of same. So if we have this width, then its radius should be half of that. So we are recording different radii, and have uh, uh, we also have the group. Group has a separate radii, only a separate radius. Basically, both of them have same size. So we have to record these, and then we also have to make sure that we are giving correct properties. So here we are. As we see that these are like we have to give correct names and designations. And if there are social media links, but for now we don't have social media links, so we would skip that. But we have to give these correctly. So we have to make sure that name and designations are correct. And then we also have to make sure that in developers and designers group, they are correctly sorted. The correct profiles are labeled in developer and designer. So let's quickly go back to our code and let's start by adding some variables. So let me quickly, okay, so we have names, designations, and let me quickly add that. Okay, so first of all, we have this profile radius. I have just calculated the radii and I've recorded it in an array. Then the group radius is single. And we also have the names. These names are in order of appearance in as shown in Adobe XD, and these designations are also in order, just like the names. And then we also need to have a profile array. So let me quickly add that and let me explain that. So here we have this array. Okay, so let me quickly go through. This array has a property called name, then designation, then image. This would store the image path. And then we have X and Y. X and Y are basically those values in that grid. Let me quickly go to Adobe XD one more time and show you what I mean. So for example, this one, this has an X and Y in that particular frame. This is 1920 by 1080p frame. Let me show that. 1920 by 1080p is the size of this frame. And in this frame, this profile is located at this location. We don't want to, we actually want them to start at particular positions, and only when we interact with them, then they should affect other nodes. So we are using these coordinates as well. So I have added those coordinates here. Let me get back to the code. So these coordinates X and Y are recorded from that. Then we also are given have two property tint and width. So in tint we are giving them what kind of tint it is based on type, and each type has its unique tint color. So that's why we are giving them. This is all the replica of Adobe XD. And then we are giving them radii as well. So these radii are given on the top. So this is these are our profiles. Now there is one thing that we need to understand. That is our team container. This is empty right now, but its size is different. It would depend upon your screen size. So it we are not specifying the size in pixels. So let me show that. We are specifying the size in according to screen. We have assigned the team containers width as 80% of the screen and height as 80% of the screen. Width and height are both 80%. So this might vary from screen to screen. So we have to, and now we are giving the absolute coordinates, these pixel coordinates. We need to do some math in order to convert them from 1920 to cross 1080 resolution to any other resolution. So for that, let's see what kind of variables do we need. So let me quickly grab those. So first of all, we would get the container, which would contain all the elements. And this is team container. Then we would need to have that value of that containers width and height, and we have original width and height as well. So we would use these properties in order to correctly calculate the different offsets. And we need this kind of profiles. Also, we need one more variable. We need some variables for associations. Association means in which groups they belong. And let me quickly add that as well. So here we have the developers group, which is profile number one, the index of profile number 1, 8, and 11. are basically developers, and designers are 2, 3, 6, and 8. And similarly, we would construct a group of we would construct the groups, and the groups each group element has their color, which is the CSS property. Basically, let me show you that. So group one has this background color and group two has this background color. So we are ensuring that. Then we are also adding different profiles. So in group one, the profiles are developers. In group two, the profiles are designers. So we are adding those. Then we have also written text content. So in group one, we would write developers, and in group two, we would write the designers. And also they also have X and Y coordinate, and they have radius of group radius. So group radius is also added here. This is our group radius. So we have mapped our relations. We need some extra variables as well. So before going there, let me show one more thing. Let me show one more thing, which is very important. So basically, we are going to do some maths here. Let me show that. Let me share this interaction with you as well. Okay, so here we would have a force field, which would be a radius around the profile, which would be our effect radius or something like that. If we click on profile and any other profile which is found in this radius, we would calculate their distance from the center, and from this distance, we would calculate a vector of angle. We would calculate the angle between these two, and we will push this node away from this node. And similarly, if there are other nodes, then they all would be pushed in their respective directions. And it is a very simple distance formula which we know, Euclidean distance formula, delta x square plus delta y square square root. And for tan, we just simply, sorry, this formula is wrong. Basically, it is delta y by delta x. So let me fix that. So it's delta y by delta x, and let me also do this. Like this formula there. Let's get back to the prototype. Okay, so when we see that this particular profile is in our effect radius, we simply push it away. And then there is also another problem. Let's suppose this profile was in our effect radius, then we pushed it away, but it can happen that this profile now collides with another profile. So we also need to resolve for secondary collisions. So for that, we would use same formula, and we would check each node against each node, and we would resolve those collisions based on the distance formula and angle. So we would give them a little bit push if they are overlapping. So this is basically the idea behind all this interaction. So I wanted to show you that we would need some simple mathematics as well to calculate this kind of interactions, and then we would be able to implement our effect. So let's get back to code. And now let me add some variables that we need. Okay, so this is a scale factor. Scale factor means when we click on profile, how much do we want to expand? And this is scale factor for group. When we would implement groups, I would explain this. Basically, when we are clicking on any group, we also need those profiles to slightly grow their size. And then we have its radius scale factor. This is basically the factor which is used to scale the radii correctly on different screens. So originally we have these radii which we copied from Adobe XD, and but we need to scale them according to screen size. So that's why we have this variable. So let me quickly add the markup. So first of all, we would need based on the markup of profile, we need to add different profiles. So let me quickly add that. So now that we have different profiles, we can calculate some properties and we can add them in our DOM. DOM is document object model. So these are all these are JavaScript variables, but we want to create actual profile. So we need to create this markup, and we can create this in JavaScript. So first of all, we are creating a profile element, and this profile element would have a class of profile. We are basically recreating this markup. So I would not go into too much details. We are just making sure that we are adding correct variables. So we also have this close button, and we are giving the bottom property. So basically we want to position the close button based on the radius. Then we can see that we are adding correct profile widths and profile tint color and all that. And this would create basically this would create that same markup, but we also need to add some click handlers. So if we click on profile, then what should it do, and how it should behave and function. So this is what we are doing here. We will implement this handle profile open and handle profile close as well. The close button when clicked would cause the profile to close. The tint button, when it would be clicked, basically it would open the profile. So this is our first interaction. Then uh, we would also need to add the groups. So based on the groups markup, we also need to add the groups. So let me quickly add that. So this is very simple. We are creating this markup in groups, and we also are creating some new variables, just like in profile. We're creating original X, original Y, and original R. So basically, we know that during our interactions, our radii and our position would be transformed. Suppose we click on profile, it would expand and its XY might change slightly. So we have to have original XY stored somewhere so that when the profile is closed, then it should go back to those XY coordinates. Similarly, we also need to have the original radius so that our size is consistent. When we expand our radius, then we need to shrink it down. So it's better that we have original radius as well. Similarly, in our groups, we also need to do this. This mathematics is basically just scaling the coordinates based on the current screen size. So this is not very important, but this bit is important. We have to store the original position, and also we have to add this handle group button. So we need to add that as well. And let me see. Okay, in the group we also have added this property user select none, because in your group, as we can see that there is a text called developers or designers, and if we click on double click on that, it might get highlighted. So that's why we have used this user select none as well. Okay, so now we have our groups and profiles set. Now let's add the different click handlers. So let me quickly implement. Let me quickly implement profile open and profile close handlers. Okay, so here are the profile open and profile close button click handlers. And also we need some control variables. Let me quickly add that. We are also going to add this handle group click. Okay, so let me quickly go through first of all the profile open and profile close. In profile open, let me go to this function. So these are some control variables. If the profile is already opened, then we have to just return one profile is open, then no other profile should be open. And similarly, if a group is opened, then no profile should be open. And if the profile is expanded, this profile which we are checking right now, if this profile is expanded, then we don't need to check do anything. We just return. So when the profile is selected, we just give some properties. We first of all give the close button opacity of 1. Our the close button should appear. Our tint should disappear. We are giving this opacity of 0. Our profile name and its opacity should be 1, and it should be translated back from behind the profile picture to below, to a little bit down where it is visible. Similarly with the case of designation and social media container. So these are the properties that need to be set. Then we have to uh, mark the control variables. So profile open and profile expanded are true. And then we are basically increasing the radius, which is we have this scale factor. So let me show that. We are expanding based on the scale factor. So we are expanding the profile here on the scale, and we have this effect radius of 1500 pixels, and we have fall of factor as well. So basically, the effect of force should, as we move apart from the source, the force should become weak. So this is kind of simulating that. Then we check all the other profiles, and if it is the same profile, we don't need to do anything. Then we see that if another profile is expanded, then we need to close that. But if we won't need that, it's just a safety check. Then we have to have a distance function. So let's quickly implement the distance function. So let me add this distance function here. I think it should be at the top here. So this distance function is very simple. It just calculates the delta x and delta y and gives us the distance formula, which we saw in the slide. So this distance function gives us distance. Then we see that if distance is less than effect radius, it means that the profile is within our effect radius. Then we calculate the inverse tan, which is very simple, delta y by delta x into inverse tan. Then we get the angle. And we calculate the fall off. Fall off means, okay, so how would it affect the radius? It just calculates the difference between those two and divide this by effect radius. So it would give us the fall off factor, and then we would calculate the force. This force is actually the product of fall off factor and our force. So fall off factor, we saw that it is 100. So then we need to give new xy positions, and these are based on the force vector, which is x is equal to f sine theta and y is equal to sorry, x is equal to f cos theta and y is equal to f sine theta. So basically, we are calculating this. These will give their new positions based on this repulsion. Then we also have to check the same in the groups as well, because groups are also nodes and they should move accordingly as well. And after we are done, we also need to check for secondary collisions. So what just like I talked in showed in the slide. So let's implement the secondary collisions function as well. So let's add this function here as well. Okay, so in secondary collisions, we just iterate the array of profiles 2 times. And if A and B are equal, then we just return. And then otherwise, we just calculate dx and dy, delta x and delta y. And we calculate the distance. And we set the minimum distance. A minimum distance is the sum of radius of A and B and a little bit of cushion. We are giving 10 pixels as well. So suppose A and B have the, if A and B have some radius like 10 is radius of A and 10 is radius of B, then their sum is 20. If the distance is less than 20, it means they are overlap. If the distance is greater than 20, it means they are not overlapped. So, and we are also giving a cushion of 10 pixels. So if within 10 pixel, the overlap shouldn't happen. So if we see that if the distance is less than minimum distance, then we perform the same calculation. We resolve the collision by giving it angle, and we multiply by some parameter. We multiply overlap with a negative 0.5. So it would just slightly move one node from other node. This is to handle secondary conditions. Now there is a function. Okay, so if this is the case for opening the profile. We just resolve secondary condition, and there is a function render. So let me quickly write that function. It's a very simple function. Uh, we just have to render all the profile positions, and we have to show them on screen. So this is the function render, and by default we would run it on the first frame as well whenever this page is loaded. So what this does is, okay, in render also we have resolved secondary conditions, collisions, because whenever we want to render, we have to resolve them beforehand. And then we just iterate over profiles and groups, and we calculate, and we give them width, height, and their left and top. Okay, so width and height would be from radius. We just calculate multiply by 2. Radius multiplied by 2 would be width, and height same. And we are giving this width and height for rank and tint. Rank is image, and tint is the tint element. So we get profiles, rank and tint, and we just give them proper height and width. Then we also get the left and top from X and Y of the profile. So these all, after resolution from different functions, collision handling and expansion, we would get final coordinates here, and we would render them. And also for groups, we would repeat the same process. Group radius multiplied by 2 would be width and height, and top and left would be given from group X and Y. So this is a very simple render function. And similarly, if we want to handle profile close, we just have to see that profile is not expanded. So if profile is already closed, then we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, we reverse the property. We set the close buttons opacity to 0, tints opacity to 0.5, and we translate back those elements and give them opacity of 0, name, designation, and social media container. Then we divide the in opening the profile, we are multiplying it by scale factor. Now we would divide by the same scale factor, so profile would return to its original size. Then we just need to give each and every profile their original X and Y so that they are restored. It's very simple. Similarly, for the group, we are giving them original X and Y, and we also set profile open as false. So this is a very simple function. We also have to handle the group clicks. Let me see if we have all the necessary variables. Okay, so in the group click, we just see that if there is a profile open, then we cannot perform this operation. And when we are here, we just set a group open to true. And we also have a property current group. So if current group is null, then it means that we if the current group is not null, then we have to make sure that only that group is allowed to interact, which has already clicked. Because group buttons are toggle from the base function. So we have to make sure that if group 1 was clicked, then only group 1 should be clicked next time. If the group 2 is clicked, then we just return. This is checking that. And here we see if we have clicked group 1, then we set our current group, and we toggle the property of group 1 highlighted, and we set the group 2 highlighted to false. Similar with the group 2. And after that, if any of these groups is highlighted, then we just select profiles, all profiles, and give them opacity of 0.7, and we just slightly resize them, their radii by group scale factor. So this is a very slight factor here. Group scale factor is 1.05. So we just shrink other profiles a little bit, And then we also, okay, so here we are in this case, and we also then for the groups profiles, we give them some properties. We give them some uh, a little bit increase in size. The same with the resizing by group scale factor. Then we give them opacity of 1. They should be bright, and we should remove their tints. So that's it for this. And if after expanding there are some sort of collisions, then we resolve them, resolve secondary collisions. And if no group is highlighted, it means that we are on the toggle mode. We are closing the group highlight function. So we just give each profile opacity of 1, and we restore the profile to its original size. And also we set the tint of every profile as 0.5. So this is normal. And then we also set the property group open as false, and the current group as null. So this is all, and then we render. So let's me quickly check if this works. So it would be a nice achievement. It works if this works on first attempt. Okay, so here are our profiles. Basically, these are all scaled, and we have set different properties. So let's check if we can click them. Okay, when we click this, then we can see that its information is available, and we can see a nice snap effect. Let's close this. Let's open this again. We see that it's a very nice snap effect. When we close this, it shrinks. Let's click any other profile. We can see that our effect is working correctly. Repulsion effect. All the nodes are correctly being repulsed. And let's see if we expand this, it should collide with this, and there should be a secondary collision. Okay, there is no secondary collision because we have handled that. That's good. Let's check all the nodes loading gradually. Okay, so it seems that our code is working correctly. So let's check if the groups are correctly implemented. Okay, so we saw that they slightly, when we select the groups, the group profiles are slightly expanded and other profiles are slightly reduced. Now we click on any other group, it doesn't affect it. When any other profile click, doesn't affect it. We have made sure of that. When we click on it again, okay, so these go back to their original size, and these also go back to their original size, and their prints are back. So this effect is working correctly. Let's check this for designers. Okay, so this is also working correctly, and this is a very nice effect. So if we click on any profile, we cannot click on another profile, and we can also not click on groups. So this effect is pretty much it. This is how we implement this effect. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have any suggestions, please feel free to give them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with some more exciting content. Thank you so much.